Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Welcome to DJI Phantom Fanatics episode number 2. And today I'm just going to do kind of across the board conversation. So any questions or any knowledge that you would like to share pertaining to drones, it doesn't have to be the DJI Phantom. It can be any sort of drone. I happen to use the Phantom 2 Vision Plus. If you've watched my channel, you've probably seen quite a few videos. But what I'm going to do is open up the air for your questions. So let's get together, ask me whatever, share whatever, and in the interim I'll kind of go through and share some useful Phantom 2 Vision Plus stuff that I've found within the past few weeks. And if you watch my videos, you know that I unfortunately crashed my first DJI Phantom 2 Vision Plus into a tree. Now it was my fault. It wasn't failing technology or anything. It was my fault. I ran into a tree, and with that being said, I sold the Phantom 2 Vision Plus as is. Hopefully, the person that won the auction will be able to make it work. But I went ahead and got another one because I couldn't be without a Phantom 2 Vision Plus for any period of time. One of the first things, actually, we'll get into that later, but I want to share IrixGuy.com with everyone and kind of explain what prompted the creation of aerialrights.com. And I mean, what is it? You may not really understand the magnitude of that site. So let me get into the comments here. Now you got to bear with me. I'm in a new studio. I hope everything's coming through okay. I hope the audio is coming through okay. That's one of the primary reasons I did the spur of the moment show, is that I wanted to test my new technology out. I wanted to test my new studio, make sure the audio works, and just kind of do across the board quality check, because I plan to have a lot more live shows. This is just one of many. So as people are trickling in here, and I see people starting to join, that's great. I know I announced this show. It was only a few hours before the start time. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a live show tonight. Why not? People that can join, that's great. They can't make it, that's fine. But ultimately, like I said, I get to test my new studio and ensure that works. Because future shows, what I want to do, and if you're interested, shoot me a message. Future shows, now that I've gotten the format and the audio quality and the video quality and all that tweaked, I'd like to invite you to join. So if you'd like to join, share your drone knowledge with the world, just go to IrixGuy.com, send me a direct message, and we'll try to make it happen. I don't know the maximum number of guests that you can have. This is Google Hangouts on Air, so I don't know what the maximum number of guests is, but I'm sure we can get quite an audience on there. So let's go ahead and get started. It's a couple minutes after. Now keep in mind, I have a 30-second broadcast delay, so any questions or comments that you post, there will be a slight delay because there's a 30-second broadcast delay. So for starters, what I want to do, I want to share the aerialrights.com website. So let me pull that up so that we can all see it here. Just a second while I get that up. Okay, so this is aerialrights.com. All of the images within this site are images that I created. I actually snapped them with the at the time of capturing these images, I was just using the Phantom 1, the Phantom 1.1.1 with a GoPro. So I had continuous video going, and then I captured still photos out of that. So that's what you're seeing here on the main page. Now what you'll find at aerialrights.com, and my slogan that I created was embracing aerial videography and photography since 2014. This is important that we all share this with others, and the reason being is that I've created forums on here, and as this site becomes more publicized, these forums should explode. So my intent behind creating aerialrights.com is to promote the positive use of drones. What can drones do that benefit everyone? I mean, there's a lot more than just taking videos and photos, but there's rescues where people may need to have something dropped off in the middle of the ocean. Maybe it's too dangerous to fly a helicopter, but they can take a drone out there and drop life-saving gear such as water and food. jackets, etc. So there's a lot of things that drones can be used for, and my concern is that if over-regulation comes into play, what's going to happen is that we're not going to continue to see the evolution of drones. Because drones, in my opinion, even though they're a production product now, drones are still somewhat beta from the perspective that the Phantom 2 Vision Plus that I have in this case right here is one of the first true out-of-the-box, ready-to-fly gimbal, syncs with your iPhone, your Android, your iPod, etc. It's one of the first true drones that does that. So we're still in the infancy. But if we don't raise awareness in a positive way, the media are going to cripple drone use. Because the media, if you don't understand how the media works, the media are all about creating buzz. Now, unfortunately, buzz that's negative typically sells better than buzz that's positive. So at a high level, I'm going to cut to the chase, what's probably going to happen is that when you see drone stuff in the news, it's more than likely negative news. Drone crashed into whatever, or a person flew a drone into a building. You're seldom going to see the positive applications of a drone. And a lot of that's linked to the media because they're about creating ad revenue for themselves. So when they're posting that negative news, it stirs up more emotions, gets more views, and benefits them more financially. But what I've created aerialrights.com for is to provide a forum for everyone to look at drones from a positive perspective. So, you can take photos with them, you can take videos with them. You can, the sky's literally the limit. So join the forums on aerialrights.com and start the conversation. Let's get this conversation started. It's easy to remember name, that's why I registered it, aerialrights.com. So check it out. But I'm not going to make this whole show about aerialrights.com. So let's go ahead and bounce back to the live show here. So you probably see this right here. This is the Snag Bear mascot. If you have not visited snagbear.com, it's another one of my websites. It's a place where I feature the various products that I use. So all my drone add-ons, etc. You can find those on snagbear.com. And I post photos and videos and all sorts of content to add even more value to what I publish on YouTube. So let's talk about some of the things that I've done with the drone. And you're going to see some videos coming on this very soon. But what I want to do is just show you live before I actually upload it. So there's one major add-on that I've added to the DJI Phantom 2 Vision Plus. Now, if you look here, you can see this kind of black-colored base on the bottom of it. I'm going to hold it steady here so you can see it. That is a carbon fiber base that has a cutout so that it won't interfere with the camera. In all of my most recent Phantom 2 Vision Plus videos, I filmed with this on, and it doesn't degrade the flight dynamics or the ability for the camera to film in various orientations. So the camera can be pointed straight down. This won't come into the frame. It can be pointed forward. It won't come into the frame. The only mild disadvantage to this is that when you're landing on tall grass, etc., what you may encounter is, because it does add some surface area there, it may make it more likely to fall over if it's landing in grass. But if you're landing on a flat surface like the top of my waterproof and ruggedized case that you see right there, it's not going to hinder it in any way. And you can look at this and you can see the camera gimbal protector, that black piece I've been talking about. The feet, the landing gear, still are the bottommost part. So that doesn't even come into play. Now the advantage to having this on your Phantom 2 Vision Plus is that if you do, in an unfortunate situation, crash, this provides better probability that your camera and or gimbal may not be damaged during the crash. Because without this on there, if the Phantom 2 Vision Plus is falling straight down, there's nothing to there's nothing to break the fall. So the fall will be broken by the camera and or the gimbal. Whereas when you have this camera and gimbal protector installed, it's just an extra piece of reassurance that you may be able to survive that crash if you do crash. And it's very inexpensive. And I'm going to post a video about this where you can find where you'll be able to order it online. There's a guy that makes these, and they're very high quality. And there's more you can do with it than just put it on to protect your camera. These holes are strategically placed so that if you wanted to add like a keychain camera or something like that, maybe add a secondary camera to your drone, it would enable that functionality. So it's just a really cool plate, and it's form fitted. There's a ridge in the middle of the landing gear on each side, and it's form fitted to snap in between that. So it's really it's really ergonomically designed. I mean, it's professionally milled. I'm not a machinist myself, but I mean, just looking at it, it's amazing how perfectly designed it is. And it did come with some zip ties if you wanted to add those to even more securely mount it to the landing gear. But I just snapped it in, and it hasn't fallen out. And I've flown this thing with the camera and gimbal guard probably about well, so this is my new Phantom 2 Vision Plus because I crashed my old one into a tree. I've flown this one probably about 10 times so far, so it's really cool. That's one of my biggest new toys that I purchased for the Phantom 2 Vision Plus. Now there's some other things I'm experimenting with as well, and I'm going to get to that here in a minute. So send me your questions. You can comment on this video, and like I said, I've got it's a 30-second broadcast delay, but I should be able to see your comments, and if you're able to get them in, soon, I should be able to respond live, face on video during this live show. So let's talk about the other things. And I've had a lot of questions from everyone, and that's something I really like. One of my favorite things about this YouTube channel is learning from my viewers, because ultimately we're all early adopters of this drone technology, and it's something that we're all learning as we go here. And there's a few things that I've discovered, and I left it in the I didn't bring it to the studio with me. I've got a tablet. So one thing I played with is an Android tablet that I can both mount to the Phantom 2 Vision Plus controller, and you'll be able to see a video. I'm going to publish that on my YouTube channel. But basically, instead of mounting on the metal bar at the top, like out of the box configuration does, instead of mounting in this little clamp thing right here, there's a rig and it's just a 7-inch Android tablet, but it mounts to this little screw thing right here. I guess what you would use for a lanyard to go around your neck. It mounts to that, and then there's another adapter to where you've got your tablet right there. So a 7-inch tablet looks really nice for this. And then I've also you may have seen my more recent video. Traditionally, with my old Phantom, all that I use is my iPhone 5. But I've gotten an iPod Touch. So basically, with the iPod Touch, you get all the functionality that you have with the iPhone 5, the Retina display, which is huge because the Retina display is for light to better prevent glare, etc. It seems to be the optimal viewing solution that I've found. And it, unlike the iPhone, where you've got a cellular phone built in, there's no phone in the iPod Touch, and that's an advantage, especially when you're like I am and you're sailing across the world and stopping at miscellaneous locations to film, because when you pull out the cell phone and you're at an international location, the possibility that you may incur data and or voice roaming exists. And if you use that iPod Touch, getting the same functionality you get out of a current model iPhone 5, and they're about to come out with the iPhone 6, by the way. That's rumored for September 9th. Mark my words on that. September 9th, you're probably going to hear about the iPhone 6 release. Now, that's just a rumor, So I don't have any inside information there. So that's one thing. One of the big things I've been playing with is the are the different screen options for my Phantom remote. So my top two right now, as I'd mentioned, is the number one is the iPod Touch, and I just like it because it's so small and it just clamps into the factory mount. But I also like that 7-inch Android tablet because it's so inexpensive, and it's you can also mount it to the top of a tripod if you want to do that, or you can mount it to your controller. And like I said, I'm going to come out with those videos. But if you check the link within any of my existing DJI Phantom 2 Plus videos, you can find the tablet I'm talking about, the Android tablet, the iPod Touch, very inexpensive iPod Touch. You don't need the big kahuna for this. Basically, all you're getting it for is a screen, and then also the mount for the 7-inch tablet, and then the 7-inch tablet also. So that's talking about that's about it. Talking about the remote and the different viewing screens that I've been playing with. Something else I got now. At the time of posting this, I haven't found an affordable third-party solution. Now this right here was quite expensive, but I tell you, it's worth every penny. This is a DC charger for the DJI Phantom 2 or DJI Phantom 2 Vision Plus battery. And as you can see on the other end, it's got the standard battery connector with those two little prongs that go into the DJI Phantom 2 battery. This was very expensive for a car charger, but it works well, and like I said, I can't imagine not having it, because whether you're in a boat, car, RV, maybe you've just got a battery and you want to use a couple of alligator clips connected to a DC style plug, you could do that and charge off the grid. And that's something I do a lot, especially with my GoPro batteries. When I'm not flying the Phantom and I'm using a GoPro, I like to rig up an off the grid GoPro solar charging solution, so that if I'm on the beach, if I'm out in the woods or wherever, if there's sun up above, which there should be unless there's an SHTF type scenario where the sun goes away, you can recharge GoPro batteries, cell phones, and other small. Oh, cool! I'm getting some questions now. Let's see what we got from the audience here. And I'm sorry, the questions, and I can see them now. It's just okay. They're saying there's video feed issues. Can everyone, if you can you see me? Because it says I'm live, and I've been just says please stand by. Okay, it's good here. So some people can see me. I tell you what, who in the audience can hear me right now, and who has a question? Because I see your comments coming in. Here's a good question right here. I'm just going to go down the list. It says, do you suffer? And actually, I'll just pop it up here. If this works, you should see it on your screen. It says, do you suffer from GPS dropout in the USA? In the UK, there are certain times of the day when only 5 are available, which causes flying issues. Well, actually, I've never encountered that issue here in the United States, and in addition to the United States, I haven't seen it in the British Virgin Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands. Not to say that it doesn't happen elsewhere. I wonder what would cause GPS dropout. Is it because of the geographical location of the United Kingdom, or what would cause that? That's interesting. I've never seen that. Let's see what else we got in here. We got more comments. More comments coming in. And this is cool. And this is part of the reason I did the spur of the moment show, because I'm looking at these comments through my through my live interface. Oh, and okay, I see everyone's comments. It's good here in the Philippines. Nice, Philippines, nice place. Huh. I think I know what I know what may have created the video chop. I had an upload going to IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. I forgot to terminate that before I started the live broadcast, so I bet it was consuming some of the bandwidth. So here's what I wanted to ask everyone. I know we're getting a lot of people trickling in now. What are your thoughts about the regulation of drones? Have you? I know we seem to have a pretty broad audience here. It seems like we've got somebody from the UK and then also the Philippines. Are they starting to restrict flying drones in those areas, or is it kind of like the United States where they still don't know what to do and how to regulate it, and it's somewhat free game for everyone? Cool. So while those comments come in, I'm going to there was something else that I wanted to pull out here. Um, yeah, let's see. This was more or less a curiosity right here. I was wondering about the battery. Has anyone encountered an issue? And I'm not trying to speak negatively about the Phantom 2 Vision Plus in any way, but has anyone encountered an issue where you take the battery out and you insert it and maybe it doesn't really snap in all the way? See, that time it did, but there's times where you'll notice that even though it seemed to go in and you can still power on the Phantom 2 Vision Plus, there's a gap right there. And if so, have you ever encountered a situation to where you were flying it like that, not realizing there was a gap and the battery fell out? Because I'm wondering, my previous drone, I crashed into a tree, but part of me is wondering if maybe the battery fell out, because it was weird. I had the video going, but the video terminated before the crash. So it's almost like, and that wasn't even anywhere near the tree when the video stopped. So I'm wondering if maybe my battery fell out, and then that's what caused the Phantom 2 Vision Plus to crash into the tree versus operator error. So I mean, I'm very careful when I fly this thing, but let's see. We got some comments. I'm just going to go down the list here. Okay, here's a comment from a viewer. It says, how good is the camera unit that comes with the Phantom 2 Vision Plus? Well, that's a great question, and actually it was one of my points of hesitation when I was deciding to purchase the Phantom 2 Vision Plus, because I started out with the Phantom 1.1.1, and it was obviously I had my GoPro Hero 3 Plus Black Edition attached to it, and then I was tasked with the decision: do I upgrade my Phantom 1 to a gimbal solution, or do I purchase the Phantom 2 and add a gimbal and put the GoPro on that? And to be quite honest with you, I'm glad I went with the Phantom 2 Vision Plus. I hesitated at first primarily because, number one, it wasn't a GoPro branded camera, and I love GoPro. And number two, it didn't do 60 frames per second at 1080p like the GoPro does. So those things made me not want to get the Phantom 2 Vision Plus, but I broke down and bought it. And as you can see, if you haven't checked out, I've got a few hundred videos now that I filmed with the Phantom 2 Vision Plus. It's just ultra silky smooth video. There's no jello, and I've noticed that the clarity of objects in the distance are much greater with the DJI Phantom 2 Vision Plus camera versus the Hero 3 Plus Black Edition. So that really really impressed me a lot. Now, as far as the goodness of the camera, there have been people that have stated that the gimbal leaves a lot to be desired, and obviously, if you do crash, that getting a replacement camera and gimbal seems to be quite expensive. So for that reason, when I got my, and as I mentioned earlier, I crashed my first Phantom 2 Vision Plus, but this camera and gimbal guard on the bottom, this is key. And like I said, I'll have a video here soon where you can find where I got this, but it's just a really cool snap-in solution. I wouldn't, if I was you, I would not let the thought of the DJI camera deter me from going with the Phantom 2 Vision Plus. I like it a lot, and in my opinion, it's only going to get better. In the 30 frames per second at 1080p, even though it's not 60, for retiming the video, speeding it up, slowing it down, I haven't noticed any performance issues there. Actually, to me, it looks almost as good as the retimed 60 frames per second. So we'll go to the next question here. It says, actually a comment. This is interesting. It says, sore subject because I do love the drones, but I'm a helicopter pilot for a living, and it sometimes worries me about looking out for them. So that brings up a great question. Now, obviously, when I fly, I'm always careful about the altitude. Personally, I prefer the lower flight because you can see the level of detail with the objects on the ground a lot more. But being a helicopter pilot, what do you think would be a dangerous altitude? Would it be above 400 feet? Are there times where it could be lower than that? I mean, obviously one wouldn't want to fly near an airport or a hospital where there would be that type of helicopter activity. But what would be your advice as far as safety is concerned for drone pilots? Since you're a helicopter pilot, what would you like to see from a safety perspective to feel safer when you're flying your actual helicopter and not have to worry about possibly encountering a drone? And then we've got another comment, and this is in regards to the Philippines. They fly drones. They fly them here, but I don't know what the regulations are on restrictions. That's interesting. That's kind of the same way in the United States. It's the gist of what I've heard in the United States is that the people that are getting in trouble, they're using it for commercial purposes, going out and doing real estate, delivering cases of beer, etc. So, but other than that, you don't really hear about anything except for the media that are trying to spotlight the drones crashing into buildings and stuff like that. And here's another comment right here in regards to regulations. The United Kingdom has strict regulations. You must be able to see the drone at all times. It cannot be flown over residential areas or sporting events, etc. And that's kind of a bummer because when you think about the application of drones, one of the most exciting videos that I filmed in the United States was flying over a soccer match, and you could chase not only the players, but you could also chase the ball, and it provided a very unique filming perspective. So in regards to that, what do you think is going to happen next? And I know I've heard some rumors on the internet about some safety mechanisms that may be built into future versions of the DJI Phantom and/or other drones. Have you heard about the parachute that they're allegedly trying to put into the drone? And do you think that's a good safety mechanism? Okay, we got some feedback here. Let's see. This was in regards to this was in regards to Justin, who actually flies a helicopter. And he said, I would say inland between 400 feet would be safe, and rarely do we ever fly below 500 feet. Beaches are a different story. And that's interesting about the beach comment, because when you think of a beach, you often think of water, and you don't think of there being any risk there, because the greatest risk would be the loss of your drone should it plummet into the water and become ruined. But that's a good point, because you do see, I know when I go down to the Gulf Coast, a lot of times I'll see the lifeguards flying over low. I guess they're looking for sharks or something like that, and it looks like they may be 100 feet or so above the water. So that's really interesting. And it's also interesting you say that, because I had a real world friend of mine that just got back from Panama City Beach in Florida, and his comment was something along the lines of, well, I wanted to fly my Phantom on the beach, but the Coast Guard kept flying back and forth. So that's interesting. Hopefully they'll be able to put something into the app, into the Vision app or whatever. And I know they have the no-fly zone already integrated into it, but hopefully they'll come out with a tool that where if you were questioned, if you were flying and you obviously you know what you're doing, and you can prove that you were meeting and or exceeding all of the regulations, I think that would be great. I just don't want to see these things completely banned. Here's another comment that came in. And it says, well, it's popping up right now. I think there we go. Until recently, there's been an outright ban on all drones in Spain since April this year. I'm worried that other countries will bring in even more strict rules. Now they're becoming more popular. And that's a great point. The popularity combined with with not only the lower price, because as we know now, because of the Phantom 2 and the Phantom 2 Vision Plus, it's easy for one to purchase a Phantom 1 for around $300 or so. That's still a lot of money, but think about it. I mean, as they come out with the Phantom 3 and the Phantom 4, etc., these things are going to be dirt cheap. And that's the scary part, because all these idiots that can go out and spend 20 or 30 bucks and get a drone and create a media and garner media attention in a negative way, that's what's going to create problems. So my hope is that I'm not a fan. I'm a fan of regulation for anything, from the perspective that I think that regulation in some areas is important. For example, a driver's license. I don't think that people should be able to just go out and drive a car if they don't have a driver's license. And there's certain things like that in my opinion, would also be applicable to drones. But I hope they don't take the easy way out and just say, well, we'll just ban them and never look back, because that's going to hamper the continued evolution of the drone, because we're still in the early phases right now. I mean, we're not we haven't even seen half of what half of the goodness that drones can bring to the world. I mean, there's a lot more than just snapping a photo or capturing a video. And I mean, granted, I got into it because I like to play with new technology, and to me, this is the absolute coolest camera that I've purchased since the GoPro. I never would have thought that I would have a camera that flies around and looks as smooth as it does. I mean, it looks smoother than video that I film with a camcorder in my hand. I mean, it's incredible what the gimbal will do. So what else do we have? What are y'all most looking forward to when it comes to drones? I mean, I know this right here to me, and I hate to keep talking about it, but it's just such a cool thing. This to me is incredible. Having the gimbal and the camera and all that integrated, and being able to see where I'm flying and use the ground station and set the waypoints and watch it fly itself. But what do you think's coming next to drones that'll be like the next big feature. Like, like obviously we've got waypoint autonomous flight. We've got FPV, first person view, so you can see what's going on while you're flying. What do you think's coming next, or what would you like to see in the next? Maybe it's DJI, maybe it's another brand. Hey, GoPro's publicly traded now, GPRO, ticker symbol. Maybe GoPro uses some of that funding to launch their own series of drones. Maybe maybe GoPro gets bought out by someone like Apple or Google, and then maybe you've got a seasoned hardware manufacturer with an awesome camera that wants to rub elbows with or not rub elbows, but wants to become a serious competitor of DJI. This is interesting. It says down in Florida, it's not uncommon for helicopters or airplanes to fly under 100 feet. That's kind of freaky when you think about it. I mean, freaky from the perspective of the pilot. So, in a scenario like that, yeah, you definitely wouldn't want to be trying to dodge a drone. And I'm assuming too, this is something that could potentially get sucked up in an airplane engine. I mean, I'm not a pilot by any means, but I've heard stories of ducks and geese causing an airplane to crash. So I'm sure this would be just as bad, if not worse, than a duck or a goose. We've got a lot of people coming in now. So how long has everyone here been oh, that's a good comment. Let's see. There's a slight delay on my comments because I get them from the YouTube feed, and then they feed into an application that I'm running called Hangouts Toolbox. It'll take a second for it to refresh here. Okay, well, I'm in the other comment thing. They say, a fan says, if there is a way to collect revenue from a registration or use tax from the local or state governments, we'll implement one. Yeah, I mean, that's true, unfortunately. But it's almost one of those things from a regulation perspective, and I don't know what y'all's thoughts are, but say there was a small fee. Let's just say a few $100, potentially even more. Maybe it was $2,000 or $3,000, and you could obtain this license to where you were legally permitted to use your drone for commercial applications. So just think about that. I mean, if that was something that would entitle people to fly that drone, even if there was a fee, it's almost something that, if not everyone could get that, well, I don't mean not everyone, but people that lack the ability to fly a drone, they probably wouldn't be able to pass that test. But the people that did, I mean, imagine that, going out and approaching realtors, assisting with land surveys, people that traditionally had to pay a helicopter pilot or an airplane pilot to go out and create aerial photos and/or videos. That's a cost. The cost of that permit or whatever, or license, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it could be it could be paid off somewhat quickly with even a small number of customers that were paying for aerial photography and/or videography. that's where I want to go with this. I mean, ultimately, I enjoy this because it's just a new toy, and you know, on my channel, I like to play with pretty much everything, and this is just the latest and greatest. And we really need to get as many people as we can together, like-minded and responsible drone owners, and try to find a way to and as I had mentioned earlier on the don't know if everyone is on for this, but I'll pop it back up. Let's see. Yeah, so my aerialrights.com website that I've created, this is something I really want to spread. So if you haven't shared it with others, please do, because what I've got here, the biggest component are the forums. Also got a link to videos. It's just a video playlist of my YouTube channel, my DJI Phantom video playlist. But you can go through here and check all of that out. It's just a good way to get people. So here's my latest video where I landed on the roof of my truck. Did a touch and go. Got some photos on here, and then these are all photos that I took, by the way, photos and videos. These are the Virgin Islands, and that was with the Phantom 1. God, I wish the Phantom 2 Vision Plus had been out when I was filming these, because it would look so much better with the gimbal. But I'll just read the quick about statement that I put on here. I just said aerialrights.com was founded out of necessity to help raise awareness in regards to unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs. UAVs are not only an exciting hobby, but they are also an excellent tool for capturing photos and videos from a very unique perspective. Aerialrights.com brings together like-minded and responsible UAV hobbyists. That's the key thing, like-minded and responsible, to help preserve our aerial freedoms and help the UAV industry as a whole continue to evolve. Please share with others, and be sure to join the aerialrights.com forum to converse with other UAV hobbyists. So if you go to the forum link here, then that's where you can sign up if you haven't signed up already, and you can participate in the conversation. So just a really easy to use forum, and I hope it's something that people start to embrace, because ultimately we don't really have the conversation started here. We've got a few posts, but we definitely need to become more active with it, and it'll come with time. Okay, we've got some more comments coming in now. Will require insurance like a car, and that's a great point, because that would keep Joe Bob or Jill Bob the drunk from going out and flying and creating an incident, whether it's crashing into an object or a person. I think that's a great idea. The insurance like a car. That would be a better way to deter less than responsible drone flyers. And then I've got another comment that came in. Does an airport security scanner affect the Phantom in any way? Hoping to take it abroad soon. Well, I can tell you this, and I checked mine in my waterproof and ruggedized case. You hear me talk about that case all the time, that orange case on my desk right now. I take it in that. Now, I haven't flown with the Phantom 2 Vision Plus yet, but I will. I flew with the Phantom 1.1.1, and obviously it was checked underneath the plane. Didn't notice any problems with it. TSA definitely got into the case, because when I arrived in St. Thomas, it was all my pieces. I had it neatly organized, and they were scattered throughout the case, not in a way where I had positioned them. So they definitely got into the case. If you fly with it, I wouldn't be concerned about the security scanner. I'm assuming they use some sort of scanning when it goes below. I would definitely check it below the plane, just because of the size of the case. But be sure, if you check it, and check with your airline to make sure this is even acceptable. But I know the batteries, you cannot put those in the checked case, so be sure to put those on your person. And I actually had a friend of mine a few days ago went to Iceland, which is international, of course. And you can check out his channel. It's youtube.com/GoPro Tabers. And let me plug that into the comments here. He's got some really awesome Iceland drone videos, and they'll be coming in soon. Let's check that out here. He made a comment that he was approached in the airport. It was actually JFK. So let me type the URL. So just go to YouTube and go to GoPro Tabers, just like it is right there. So yeah, check out his videos. But he encountered an incident in the in JFK Airport in New York, and basically he was searched. They were questioning him about all the batteries that he had, and they did make the comment that apparently for batteries, not only do you have to have them on your carry-on or on yourself, but they've got to be individually wrapped. So you may, before you travel abroad with it, you may want to check with the airline and see what you may have to do, if a Ziploc bag is acceptable, or if you have to do something else to isolate the batteries. Because that was something that the last time I flew, I just had all my drone batteries in a backpack, so it wasn't, it was a non-event. But like anything else, I mean, I'm sure there's more regulation coming into play. Great question though. That's really good stuff. We got more comments coming in. Let's see here. Yeah, so the thing I would be worried about though with the airport security scanner, and this is something that I did with my Phantom 1. I was working on my, not this one, but my original Phantom that I had, the 1.1.1, and I had a magnetized screwdriver, and it was it came into close proximity of the compass, and the compass went haywire. And if you've ever gotten your Phantom compass near a magnetic field, I mean, obviously when you try to fly it, it'll go haywire. So be aware of anything like the scanners. I'm assuming they may have some sort of magnetic properties to them. Oh, here's a comment right here. And I apologize, my feed's a little bit delayed, so I'm getting to the comments as fast as I can. It says, I'm already using it in my real estate business in Florida. Customers are speechless when they see the videos, and I bet they are. And just out of curiosity, are there other people in your area that do the same thing, or do you sort of have a monopoly, at least at this point in time? And this is the link I was talking about. Just go to youtube.com/GoPro Tabers. He's going to have some Iceland drone videos, which will be awesome. Got another comment coming through here. Spare lithium metal and lithium-ion/polymer batteries are prohibited in checked baggage. Okay, so that would mean, yeah, so that's in sync with what I experienced, having to have the batteries on my carry-on. So good thing to be aware of, even if you're traveling. If you're not traveling internationally, be sure that you're not checking them. And to add to that, Justin said, battery-powered devices, particularly those with moving parts or those that could heat up, must be protected from accidental activation. Which that makes sense. I mean, you don't want to you don't want to short, especially below the plane where it couldn't be put out. That could be catastrophic for everyone. So at least that drone law makes sense. What's the, oh, interesting. So there's no other competitors in the real estate space at this point. That's neat. So what's the most outlandish? What's everyone's greatest concern right now in regards to drones? Is there something that you think is going to get it all shut down? I mean, I know my greatest concern is just the media, because the media are all about highlighting the negativity. So I mean, I don't. Well, it's already 50 minutes after the 50 minutes after the hour. I didn't expect this this show to last this long. So what I want to do, number one, I want to thank everyone for joining. I know this was spur of the moment. I just put it together. I felt like I was going to get a show up, test out the studio before I make this a routine show. But this is episode 2 of DJI Phantom Fanatics. So if you have a computer, obviously you've got a computer if you're commenting on these videos. But if you would like to be a guest on a future scheduled show, what I'd like to do for my next episode is try to at least have a few days advance notice so that we can build an even larger audience. But if you'd like to appear as a guest, and then we can all be on video and go back and forth with the dialogue, that'd be awesome. And if you don't want to join on video, that's understandable as well. Just tune in and do the comments on the YouTube video like you did today. So let me know your feedback if you think this show is a good idea. Let me know what you would like to see on future episodes. If there's a particular topic that you think would be neat to address, and I'm going to try to. One of the things I want to do with my YouTube channel, since it does have a growing footprint, actually I just hit 10 million video views, and within a day or so I ought to hit 14,000 subscribers. So my goal is to use the footprint of the YouTube channel to help draw buzz and better promote live shows like DJI Phantom Fanatics. So thanks again for your viewership. Be sure to share this with others. After this live show concludes, this will become a YouTube video, so you can watch it offline and share with others offline, comment offline. It'll just be like a regular video on my YouTube channel, except instead of being pre-recorded and uploaded, it was broadcast live, and then it becomes a YouTube video. So thanks again, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. It's youtube.com/IrixGuy. But I got to get something to eat, and hope everyone has a good and safe holiday weekend, and we'll have some more content coming soon here at IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. Y'all have a good day.